think I figured out the second language in UFO, and it involves Solomon's Ring. Welcome back to Cryptid Theory, where we use the cards to figure out the storyline and lore of Metazoo. My name is Trementic, and today we are going to look at the second language in UFO, something that has been teased to us since August, September of last year, and I'll be honest with you, this is by far one of the hardest things that I've tried to figure out. But let's jump right in and I'll tell you everything that I know so far. So this goes all the way back to when UFO was first released last August, July. And Mike was teasing that there was a second language in UFO. Well, we always assumed that the second language was whatever the text was that was on the spellbook. Because if you look at the front of the UFO spellbook, it clearly looks like it is some sort of alien language, alien alphabet. Now, the closest thing I could find regarding that was some sort of a connection a little bit with ancient Hebrew, ancient Moabite, but there was no direct translation. Then they also showed us the ring, I want to say in September or October of last year, in preparations for New York Comic-Con. And that's when we realized that that was the Ring of Solomon, the thing that actually allowed Solomon to control the 72 demons, the object that allowed Solomon to accrue as much power as he actually had. Now, I had the opportunity to actually look at that ring at Water Tower. And I took some stills of it, I took some video of it, but in all the madness that was the Water Tower, I didn't get very clear pictures. So for the last 2 months or so, I've been going through those pictures, going through that footage, trying to see if I could translate anything. And I'll be completely honest with you, I couldn't find a language or an alphabet that actually lined up exclusively with it. Some of the figures, some of the characters would match, then other ones wouldn't. There'd be always one or two that just never showed up in any of the alphabets that I looked at, no matter how hard I tried. The last MetaZoo hour that Mike had, I got very inspired though to go back and actually start looking for the second language in UFO again, especially since him and Andy both were talking about how we were overthinking it, that we needed to go back and look at it with fresh eyes. So I started going through all of the wilderness cards, trying to see if I could find any sort of connection to anything that was strange. I mean, we already knew about the drawings that were on the San Pedro's card. There's another handful of cards where they have some sort of interesting, maybe like sigils or interesting carvings. But it wasn't until I saw the Patient Insight card from one of the release event boxes that I got really excited. See, not only does the bookmark down the center of that card actually represent things that we've seen in other sets, but if you look over to the left, those 4 characters were deliberately drawn, and those 4 characters actually show up on the Ring of Solomon. Another really interesting thing to point out too is that you actually see the Starlight Sigil on that bookmark. Now, Starlight Sigil is actually in Wilderness, and the flavor text for that actually reads, "Cosmic sigils work as interstellar beacons for wary alien travelers looking for hospitable planets." So of course, me being who I was looking into it, I started coming up with a theory exactly what that bookmark is talking about. That bookmark actually shows, I think, how aliens can find Earth. And the big thing to take away though is that last 4th symbol, which is that circle that looks like a ring. Now, the only thing that I could actually see that would fit with that ring was the Uktena. Now, that might seem a little strange until you realize that Uktena actually showed up twice in UFO, well before Native actually arrived. In one of the cards, Uktena can be seen actually playing a MetaZoo game with Sam, or Sam just showing the Uktena cards. The other one, though, the Uktena is actually with Rugaroo, and it looks like they've captured something, and a UFO is actually taking away that body, which we're assuming is Sam. So that leaves us with 2 possibilities. Either the Uktena was actually the thing that you need to find in order to actually find Sam, because again, remember, Sam is very important to the storyline of MetaZoo. So the Uktena could be the thing that actually could find Sam. Or they actually needed to find the Uktena so they could actually get the jewel of the Uktena. See, the jewel of the Uktena is a very powerful relic by itself. Even in Native American lore, it actually says that the stone itself has great prophesizing power. Now, what does that make you think? It makes you think of Stargate Project from UFO, where it directly talks about how the Men in Black were trying to utilize and use psychic power, but potentially it would actually take a seance to be able to unleash that. Now, the other thing that's worth pointing out when it comes to the Jewel of the Uktena is the fact that the jewel itself requires blood sacrifices, either from the owners themselves or from small game. And if the jewel does not get those, it will actually leave its hiding spot and it will actually come for the owner of the jewel. The jewel is a very powerful artifact and could potentially be used to help turn the tide in any sort of battle. So yeah, two theories on exactly why Uktena is in UFO. One, basically because the jewel is exactly what they are after because of the power that the jewel has, or the Uktena is the only way to actually find Sam, who we know is very crucial to the Metazoo storyline. Now, back to the ring. I haven't been able to translate it, but to be honest with you, I think I was looking at it wrong. I don't think it's an alphabet that can be translated verbatim to have words or stuff like that. I'm starting to honestly think that the symbols that are on the outside of the ring are actual sigils, specifically alchemist sigils. Now, we know that Solomon was a very powerful alchemist. We know that he, in legend, was able to turn lead into gold. That's one of the reasons, or one of the ways they were able to get all of the materials in order to build Solomon's temple, was his ability as an alchemist to change things into other stuff. And the funny thing is that when I started looking at the symbols in an alchemist point of view, they started really lining up, and almost every single one of them, if not all of them, somehow line up with some sort of alchemy lore, alchemy theory. And this goes back to the original sigils that we saw actually in Wilderness as well too. A lot of those actually are alchemist symbols. So it really made me start thinking that the ring actually had the sigils on the outside in order to make alchemy transmutations easier. Just like with the black pullet ring when we were talking about that, and I was saying how you needed specific ingredients and specific things in areas in order to make the process work efficiently. Maybe it's the same way with the ring. The reason we see constellations on the ring are because you need certain constellations invoked in order for these transmutations to actually work. So all the symbols on the outside of the ring line up either with alchemy or with astrology. Now, there are two symbols on the front facing part of the ring that I really feel like I actually was able to translate correctly. And the first one is the triangle with the circle. Now, traditionally that stands for our solar system, for Earth and the Sun, but it can also stand for the four elements: fire, water, earth, and wind. The circle symbolizes the spiritual and divine aspect that transcends the elements. So again, that is very fitting for the Ring of Solomon, the power that that ring has in order to allow Solomon to invoke the four basic elements. Now, the next one is super exciting because this symbol actually shows up also on the UFO spellbook, and it's that X symbol. The X traditionally represents the meeting or crossing point of two realms or forces, such as the intersection of the earthly and spiritual realms, meaning it is a symbol of the physical meeting the metaphysical. And that sounds just like seance. That sounds just like Solomon's ability to be able to control the 72 demons with the ring. It is a way for the physical, our realm, to deal with the metaphysical, the realm of magic, the realm of where these demons come from. It sounds, like I said, it sounds a lot like seance to me. So, to summarize, the second language in UFO ties directly to King Solomon and his ring. Both of them have the same symbols on them. The ring and the second language seem to be a combination of astrological and alchemist symbols. Patient Insight, the card that I showed you, is describing the process to get to Earth in order to find the Jewel of Uktena or to capture Sam, one of the two. The two translated symbols are a direct link to seance because of the physical-metaphysical ties. And the sigils from Wilderness are alchemist symbols that can be found in the Key of Solomon, again, who was a very powerful alchemist, and it explains why that language on the outside of the ring, you can't translate it because it's not an actual language with an alphabet like ABC. It is alchemist sigils that allow the user of the ring easier access to these magics. And that could be one of the reasons why when they first showed the ring, Mike was saying that the ring is now safe, Cryptid Nation is safe because of they found the ring, because whoever has this ring has immense power, not just to control the demons, but also in the realms of alchemy, being able to transmutate metals into other things. So this ring is a lot more powerful than we originally thought. But my name is Trementic. Thanks so much for checking out the theory. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. If you can figure out anything with the ring, with the symbols, the sigils, everything like that on there, let me know. I definitely am going to keep looking into this to see if I can actually get more concrete answers. But I wanted to actually show the connection between the ring and UFO. Actually, like I said, I feel like we really did find the second language that Mike was talking about since last August. But like I said, leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.